A few days later, a sword was brought to the Hashiras, a beautifully crafted blade with a deep purple distinctive tone into it. The blade guard resting at the base of the sword, beautifully complemented with a deep purple with a silver star, finely outlining in purple, the handle being covered with strong laced leather threads. Handily different deep black and indigo threads. Shinobu held it with both hands and slipped it into an extra sheath until it could be given to Yin. Shinobu and Gyu had said their farewells and were now on their way to where Yin had last been reported being seen in Shidoku. Now the two pillars were linking arms, walking through the bright city, both in quite beautifully made kimonos. Shinobu, I think that's her right there, Gyu whispered, suddenly caught off guard by being winded after receiving an elbow to the ribs. Contact was made with the eyes of the two pillars and Yin. A feeling of fear and dread had seeped over the Hashira. They now understood the issue they were dealing with. They weren't simply dealing with any demon, but Muzan himself. Gyu instantly grabbed Shinobu closer to him. He was aware of the danger they were in if they didn't act carefully. Shinobu's eyes followed Yin. She noticed how she was nudging along to keep moving, and how close she was to the Demon King, his hand remaining a firm grip on her shoulder. Gyu's nose was upturned, cringing at the dead sight of Muzan's pale but firm grip. How was it that he looked so human? Shinobu had an idea and started frantically dragging Gyu towards Yin, while acting as someone so bluntly in love, making small remarks of how she couldn't wait for them to spend more time together after their quote-unquote trip. After all of a sudden, she walked a little too fast and oops! There goes Yin, almost face-planting before feeling something slid up her leg. Great idea. Shinobu was using her lightning reflexes to slide the sheath containing the purple blade under Yin's kimono, in hopes that Muzan would notice. Yin quickly fixed the sheath beneath her white kimono. Just in time, Muzan swiftly caught her, sweeping her up while doing so. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can get a little clumsy at times," Shinobu said, putting up an act of sorts, with Gyu rushing to her side to help her. Muzan sent a dense glare towards the quote-unquote couple. He tightly forced a grip onto the side of the girl's arm, making his way away from the two Hashira. When they created a big enough distance and the sun was smearing as it melted across the blue sky, they were making their way into the forest they had come from. Muzan had stopped walking after feeling an icy piece of steel pressed against his pale neck. He only moved his eyes to look next to him, viewing Yin firmly holding her sword to the side of his throat, threatening to slice through at any moment. He softly closed his eyes, a small smile resting on his lips. Clever girl. Yin's eyebrows raised slightly, the serious expression on her face remaining stationary. With ease, Muzan created a force, repelling Yin meters away from him. With a simple sweep of his hand, clouds of dust formed as a girl skimmed over stately feet across the ground. A simple smile on Muzan's lips from a form of disappointment. She simply gripped over her sword tighter, fighting the sweat starting to form in her callous palms. "And just when I thought you were starting to see each other on equal terms," Muzan had said, his frown suddenly seeming to so much anger than his tone converted. Yin tightened her grip on her sword. "Star breathing. First form. Stargazer," Yin had said, suddenly creating a cluster of stars enclosing the demon. He lunged up, seemingly flying. While doing so, she raised her blade above her head, suddenly entering the cluster of stars. all the while focusing the energy onto the tip of her sword. She lunged at his neck, battling with pale skin for entry into his what? Elocosmica? I think that's how I say it, sorry. Without moving his head, he directed his bright eyes towards her. If looks could kill. Damn, it won't go through, Yin thought, visibly frustrated while a drop of sweat was making its way down her forehead. The cluster vanished, making her lunge back, barely out of breath, not noticing she was in for a battle. You are aware I could turn you into a demon right now or give you so much blood that you wouldn't be aware of your own fatality, Muzan had said, making her eyes move towards his hands. Pale and sharpened nails touched the ends of his fingers. Now, you really weren't on thin ice. You had to be careful. I doubt you'd waste my type of blood just for your own sacrifice. But if so, try me, Yin said, standing firmly a few meters away. One thing that I can simply cannot tolerate are those those inferior talking to me back. Muzan had spoken. I forgot to mention star breathing, which is your breathing style, is from moon breathing, which would be also from sun breathing. So, yeah. Sorry that I didn't mention that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed though. Bye, lovelies.